You gotta hear this, I really like this audio, or how do I get this to work?
I promise you, somewhere under all this rock is a heart of gold.
Wait, they play different lines if I go back.
Really?
3, 2, 1.
Well, it ain't easy being this strong or this handsome.
Do you hear him?
Yeah, he said different lines.
Anyway, I just wanted to show his voice off because I thought the guy who played his voice did a really good job.
He did do a really good job. I never noticed that they say different lines in the replays. That's interesting.
He's got such a gravelly, fun accent.
Yeah, he did a really good job with the New York accent. A lot of actors who try to do New York accents can't do it very well. Oh, I wanted to say something else about the Spider-Man family thing. I feel like the family dynamic of a family full of superheroes is so fun and not done enough. Like, we see it in The Incredibles, which is a Pixar movie, and then we see it with the Fantastic Four, like where the two children that Sue and Reed have together have powers too, and then they like do superhero stuff together. But that's kind of like it in terms of the amount of superheroes I can think of who are like superhero families.
I mean, the X-Men are an extended family, but it's a little different. You mean like a mom and dad
And kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like having Mary Jane, Peter, and Mayday would be a really interesting idea.
Which is why Ultimate Spider-Man comics are so good right now, because it's Peter, MJ, and their two kids.
But MJ doesn't have powers in that, does she?
No, but it's just kind of different. I
Do
mean,
their kids have powers?
so not really, but there's kind of a spoiler on that I don't want to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Because there's like a way that I believe his son contributes to the story, but it's not the same way.
Is his son double cheeked up?
Son's a minor, so I cannot say yes.
That sucks. Did you like my comment about how, like, Dagger was a teenager once in comics, so now people can't call her hot, otherwise they're a pedophile?
I've seen that too, yeah. Well, what that is it's the internet doing a purity test. Like, everybody wants you to look at somebody else's thing that's bad or that they say is bad so that you won't look at theirs.
Yeah.
So that's really all that is it's a bunch of people who...
I'm also pretty sure in this game she's not supposed to be in high school anymore.
I'm pretty sure she's in her 20s. And
Yeah.
she's in her 20s right now in the comics, too.
Yeah. I think Cloak is the same age as her.
Although, little dark era of Spider-Man, when Peter was like 20-something, he was hitting on her in one of the comics.
Wait, when she was in high school?
Yeah, she was like 16, and there was some...
Peter Parker? More like Peter Predator.
Yeah, no kidding. More like, I was going to think, that one's much better than mine.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say Peter Parker.
Peter Parker is funny! Peter Predator.
Yeah, I feel like that was... But it was a different time, you know what I mean? If you were with a 16-year-old at the time...
16-year-olds.
It was not considered weird. Like, I mean, it's the same thing with the 90s where people look at Sailor Moon and they look at anime and they're like, Mamoru was a predator because Tuxedo Mask in that is like 17 or whatever and his girlfriend's like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And then he's 18 and she's still like 16.
No, she's 15 when he's 18, I think.
Okay, well, whatever. But here's the thing. At the time, there were 20-year-olds dating girls in high school because if you were younger, you were still you were considered a young adult. You weren't really considered a teenager after about 16-ish.
Yeah.
And even though you still were, it's just how the country worked. And they had an age of consent of 13 in Japan.
And it was more normal in Japan for a 14-year-old to, like, date somebody who's a little older.
Like going to college or something.
Yeah, because you go to college earlier in that country, and it was just considered much more normal.
But you were also expected to mature faster. I mean,
And girls got married younger there.
Well, and young girls and young boys even, they would be pushed so hard in school that they would mature faster.
Yeah.
You know, because they basically were doing a full-time job plus.
Yeah.
I mean, Asia, different parts of Asia have always taken their...
Parts of that story are definitely a product of its culture, but nowadays people hate Tuxedo Mask because of the fact that he's older than her. Mm-hmm. And then there's other parts of, like, hating him because season 2 of the original anime was absolute dog shit for, like, the first half. Or not the first half, it was the second half.
I'd like to show a little bit of you because we don't have... well, I don't know if we have quite enough here.
But
Let's see what
anyway,
you were doing.
Tuxedo Mask gets a bad rap, and it makes me sad because he's my favorite character aside from Sailor Moon herself. And then people try to like retcon it where they're like, well, maybe she should be with Seiya because he's
People
actually
watching
her.
this are not going to know what this is.
Well, he's a guy who shows up in the last season, and he's her age, you know, and like in her school and stuff, and they're like, well, you know, he's not a predator, maybe she should be with him. But it's like, Tuxedo Mask was never a fucking predator. He's only like 3 years older than her.
Right, and it was a different time. And also, if you really want to go down this purity test road of like, basically micro-analyzing every relationship, you could also say there was a power dynamic balance between Seiya, who was a literal teen idol, and Usagi, who is Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, because, so, Nate and I were talking
But
about this.
nobody knows she's Sailor Moon. Everybody knows Seiya's a teen idol.
Right, so what I'm trying to say, though, is this one person is a celebrity.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to point that out now, right? You know, like, they'll be like, this celebrity slept with a fan, it's a power imbalance, that's graping them. But then I see people in that anime fandom go like, Sailor Moon, the normal, regular teenage girl, should have been with the celebrity.
Instead of the guy who really loved
The
her.
normal-ass guy,
Yeah.
who she saves the ass of all the time.
Because he's only 3 years older than her, so he's a predator.
And my point is, like, you can do this to anything. Like, you can, like, are you gonna make partners go take an IQ test? Well, this person has 30 more IQ. Are they grooming their partner because their partner's a moron?
You would be considered grooming me if we took an IQ test together.
I think you'd be surprised.
I don't know. I don't think my IQ is like, I mean, I don't think it's like super low, but I don't think it's higher than yours.
But my point is, I think that when you start going down this road of, like, measuring all these things, there's ones that make sense, but when you're going back in time to measure them against the standards of that time, there's certain things we can, I think, all agree are bad. Like, racism was bad. I mean, it wasn't okay just because it was okay. I'm more lenient on historical figures because of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to sit here and say it was okay just because it was ingrained in the culture.
Yeah.
But then you look at something arbitrary, which is like what we decide is the age of consent, and I'd say it's at a good spot now. You know, it's like it shouldn't be lower than 18.
No, and yeah, I
But-
feel like it's at a good spot. But then, here's
But we
the thing.
can't go back and judge people who didn't know that.
And for when it was a different age at a time.
Like
because
30, 40 years ago. Because Sailor Moon was the 90s.
Yeah,
You know, it's
and-
now 2025.
I'm pretty sure during that time in Japan it was 13. And then
Oh, dude, it was 13 until like 2010.
and then
Did you
it
know
changed
that?
to 16, I think.
It was forever.
Not in all regions though. Other regions had it higher than 13.
But the national.
Yeah.
There was the regional thing, and then there was national. They basically do it almost like each...
Kind of like states.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. Like, they're different, but yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Or like if you went a city over and they had a different rule about speeding.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult to say, well, that one's morally correct and that one isn't.
But then they finally changed like their federal law.
Yeah, to fit
Yeah.
a better standard.
Which I agree with, you know? Like,
Well,
I
it's
think
still a
that's
little
fine.
low.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I agree that like
Look at
they
that.
should have changed it at least federally to make it all one thing.
Yes.
I love that MVP, by the way. That's awesome.
It's so cool. I love how he just, like, goes and does his coin and then glares off into the distance.
But then I was gonna say, you know, something that makes me mad about like 18 being the standard
Uh-oh.
is the fact that like you can get married at 18, you can legally have relations that could form a child, a whole child inside of you at 18.
Mm-hmm.
You can do all this stuff. You can't drink though. You can't legally smoke weed. I think you can legally buy cigarettes.
I think
but
it's
that's
funny,
about it.
you can legally die for your country, but you can't drink.
You can legally die for your country at 17. That's a year before you're even legally an adult.
Hey, I got this. Got 100.
Yeah. I'm just saying I think there should be a standardized thing where, like, you can't get married, you can't drink, you can't this, you can't that until you're a certain age. Like, I feel like it should just all be one age. So, like, at 18, then you can join the army. At 18, then you can drink. At 18, then you can smoke. You know, at 18, then you can get married and have babies. Which, like, obviously it's not illegal to get pregnant before that, but it is frowned upon.
Right. Well, I would say that my big problem with it, if we're actually going down that road, is that you have a society where people infantilize, is that the word? Women?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you're a woman and you're under 25, people act like you're still a child.
I got weird people online who were mad at me when I married you when I was 19.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of people like that, and I guess
I wasn't old enough to get married at 19.
But that's my thing, is like, so if that is... I want to show this really quick, because I got all these, by the way. If that is what we're going to accept, then it's like, then you have to accept it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
that's kind of
can't-
my problem with it. It's like, if you have an age, you need to stick to it, and we shouldn't shame people for getting married at that age. You know what I mean? Like, if you're 18 and you're really in love and you want to get married, even if it's for some reason going to be a bad decision 10 years down the road, I still think you should be able to make that decision.
Right.
You know?
Well, yeah, and then we want to push all these other things, though, to different ages, and I think that this, by the way, is why, and I'm not even going to get into this is why the what age can someone be trans at is such a big hot-button issue, because people say, well, why can you go into the military at this age? You can't drink till this age. You can do, maybe you could do this procedure at this age, or you can't at this age, and then I'm just saying, like, all of these things become, like, these weird arbitrary numbers.
That's why I think it should all just be standardized at 18. You know, so that way trans people can have a number where they can, like, if their parents don't sign off on it, when they turn 18, then they can legally change their gender if they want.
Well, I didn't want to get into this, Jill, because it becomes a debate, but the reason that they feel the way they do is because puberty forms your body a certain way forever.
Mm-hmm.
So their argument is, well, if I'm a woman in a man's body, I shouldn't have to develop a man's body and then I have to go back on it and I have bigger bone mass and I'm a bigger person and all this stuff. That's
I can see how that might be a big debate, and
that's why I'm saying
I
it's
don't
a
want to get
debate.
into that.
But you started to get into it.
I'm just saying.
I don't
at
even
least
know
if
what.
they,
Look
at least
how
if they
good
had
she
a,
looks.
I know. At least if they had a standardized age, it would be like less of a problematic discussion, even though it's still a problematic discussion.
This Wolverine's amazing, by the way.
I know. I love that skin.
All of these skins are done really well.
I know. They do amazing jobs on these skins.
I just particularly love her.
I know. I bought that one, even though I don't play as her tons, just because I love seeing her panties.
Well, and that I was just telling you that's why I didn't want to get into the debate, but I wanted to stop you before you went too far down your road, because I don't think you know what people's arguments are for this stuff.
Yeah.
I think you just know it is an argument.
I know it is an argument, and I personally think that they should at least just make a standardized age, so that way if we're going to argue about it, at least we could, like, have an age to argue about, instead of being like, well, you can't drink until 21, so maybe trans people shouldn't be this until 21. Well, you could join the army at 17, so maybe trans people could do this at 17. And it's like, well, maybe we could at least, like, you know, standardize it.
Right,
so,
you're saying the simple things are all different.
So at least we could simplify it, so we can at
I think
least have...
smoking is also 18, but drinking's 21.
But weed is 21, I think, too.
It depends on where you are.
I think it depends on where you are, but, like, smoking cigarettes, you can do at 18, I think.
I wanted to show a couple of things, because those were all of my...
You also can't buy cold medicine until you're 18. Did you know that?
No.
Because of making meth.
I like the idea it's okay to make meth at 18.
Well, no, it's not okay to make meth, but the reason they do it is so they can ID you to, like, make sure that you're not gonna, like, do anything illegal with it, and then if you do, they have, like, your ID or something. I don't know.
I've started really liking Penny Parker, by the way.
Yeah, she's cute. I just wish you actually got to see her in the game. Like, I don't like that you only get to see her mech when you're playing as her and not her.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I
wish
agree.
you could switch out of the mech if you wanted to.
This Magneto, I hate playing as Magneto in this game. It sucks. He's like one of my favorite mutants ever, but I hate playing as him.
I don't like Namor at all.
I've never cared about him. I do like this.
That Iron Man skin's awesome.
Oh, whoops, I accidentally went down. Is there a way to inspect? Yeah. I like these almost vampire hunter type skins. I'm surprised they didn't do this season around Halloween. Aren't you?
Maybe they wanted to, but the game didn't come out until like a couple months ago, and it was past Halloween.
Maybe, but if that was the case, wouldn't they have done it for season 0?
But I guess I don't know.
You know?
Maybe they just did it because it was cool.
I love this outfit.
What if they had like the kind of director that's like me, where they're like they love vampires and they love like this aesthetic, and they were like, we need to do this season, and people are like, but Jill, it's not Halloween. I don't care. We need to do this season.
Well, they would have someone who loves butts on their staff too, like you.
I think they just have me on their staff. Like, they have my long-lost sister I didn't know I had or something.
Just secretly on it.
Yeah. Like, look how big Scarlet Witch's butt is here.
I know.
My goodness.
I love this Scarlet Witch. I'd like to play as her a little bit. I thought you... Did you ever show a MVP as her?
I thought I did, yeah. I love playing as her. She's really fun. The only thing that makes me not want to play as her is because people online are really mean about people who play as Scarlet Witch and say she has no skill and stuff like that.
You're talking about me?
Well,
I'm
no.
not mean about it. I said that I don't like that she has an auto lock because I think it.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about people on Reddit.
I know, but let me defend myself here. I think that what her auto lock does is attracts toxic players who don't want to actually play the game. They just want to be a bitch.
Yeah.
And I kind of think the same about Spider-Man's speed is it attracts people who don't actually like the character or want to have fun.
They're just being a dick.
They just want to get highlights for their Twitch by getting an insta-kill the moment the game starts.
Yeah, I guess that's just kind of what makes me sad, is because I feel like if I play as Scarlet Witch, then people are going to look at me and be like, well, she's just a fucking bitch. But, like, really, I just secretly really love Scarlet Witch as a character and think she's really cool.
No, I get that. I wasn't trying to be mean about her either.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's just I really like her a lot, and I love Magneto. He's one of my favorite mutants, too, so it makes me sad that playing as him isn't all that fun, but then for me, playing as his daughter is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But then people kind of try and ruin it by saying, like, oh, well, you must have no skill if you're playing as her. Why don't you play a real character?
Yeah, people shouldn't say that.
And I guess it just kind of makes me sad, because it's like, I really like this game a lot, and I really like playing as these characters, and I just want to be able to play as who I want, you know?
I want to look at something really quick for a second. T said that you can, in practice versus AI, get some of these done.
Practice versus AI.
Also, we got to Gold 3,
Yeah,
So-
we're gonna get the skin at the end of the season.
and we did not go past that.
We're not gonna.
No, it's not fun.
That's hell, is what that is. So, I went 49.
No, you never start anything with so. I was a speech teacher for a year. Start over. Minus 10 points.
Sorry.
Nope, not enough. Minus 10 points. Start over. Ooh, stuttering. Minus 10 points. Start over.
I need 49 and 4 and 11 assists on this match. It's the best match of my life. We have to show it.
Good.
This is the only thing in my life that I will ever do.
What are
this
you,
well
Batman
on.
from BVS?
What?
This might be the only thing I ever do in my life that ever truly matters.
I am Batman from BBS here, okay? This is the only match in my life I will ever do this well on. Everybody needs to see it,
Let's
okay?
just admire, like, the true beauty.
I know, she's so
Alright.
hot and I'm in love with her.
Let's just admire the physique. The animalistic qualities.
I wish they would give her a skin
The
where she wore
cuteness.
less. Don't you?
The butt. Yes.
She is an adult, right?
So I
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
genetic
Squirrel Girl, yeah.
Yeah.
She's in her
I'm
20s.
not a mutant.
Everybody's basically an adult in this game. The one that might not be is Penny Parker, but I still think she's like a young adult. She said something about missing high school, though, to be here, So
She might still be in high school.
but I thought she was like a senior.
Oh.
I don't know. There's plenty of Rule 34 of her, I've heard, online.
Yeah, you've
So
heard?
who knows?
You have no clue about that?
I have no clue. I don't watch that kind of thing.
So I'm really excited for this match because I only died 4 times and I got 49 kills, and that's like the most amazing thing I've ever done in a competitive game like this. Like, I don't do well in games like this. And so the fact that I did amazing here is like so amazing to me.
And I think we've kind of had like a 1 match per skin or a 1 match per character rule so far. Just because we're showing off, you know, characters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't want this Let's Play to go on forever. I mean, I guess we could just add to it
This
over
is the
time.
exception to the rule though.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was going to say, is that it was such a good match that we wanted to go back, even though we showed a pretty good Squirrel Girl match before.
Yeah. Because I did really good.
I was worried that this was the one we had showed before, but you looked and it was not.
No, I looked. I made sure.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think this is a weird Let's Play in terms of, like, a lot of people stream this game. I can't pay attention to it very well if I'm talking.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time with the strategy element. I don't know how people do that.
I don't know, it's too difficult. You have to like be locked in so hard that it's hard to talk during it. However, I did play this match with Nate, which was really fun. But when me and Nate play this game, it's literally just us sitting in a room silent together.
You don't talk?
Yeah, and then after the match, we'll be like, wow, that was an awful match. Or, that was an amazing match, Nate.
You guys don't, like, talk about what's happening?
Well, sometimes we'll say like, Nate, I need you to heal me.
Oh,
Or,
he never
like-
plays healer. What do you mean?
He plays healer sometimes. He's really good as
What?
Rocket Raccoon.
What?
Yeah, I know, it's shocking, right?
He used to be a healer that didn't heal.
Yeah, he used to be.
He was,
but
like,
now he's good-
cosplaying-
Now he's good at Rocket Raccoon.
He was cosplaying that Zero Heals Rocket
I
guy.
think his best character is the Thing, though. Like, he's really good as the Thing.
This was really good in general.
I know. Look how many people I got.
Okay, first off, though, look at how cute the squirrels are
I know,
when they start coming back. I love that they actually modeled all of them, and then you've got... Isn't that Tippy right in front?
Yeah, that's Tippy in front, I think. But also Tippy's still on her head, so it doesn't really make sense.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh. No, maybe it's a different one.
Maybe it's Tippy's gigantic sister.
Yeah, Toppy or something.
Toppy.
Sloppy Toppy.
Ooh, Sloppy Toppy.
And then look at all of these little guys.
Look how cute they are.
I love it. This is probably one of my favorite supers in the game.
It's really awesome. And did you see they leave little footprints?
Yeah, and they also leave little nuts sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, they're just so cute. I love it. That's probably my favorite super in the game, actually.
But yeah, with this game, I definitely want to, like, keep doing it over time. You know, so maybe there could be a month or two off and we might come back with 3 parts of it. You know, who knows?
I'm really sad this replay is not going to work anymore after today with the new update.
That's what's weird is we're recording this on the 10th, and they said that when the new version updated, that the old replays wouldn't work. So then we basically had to go through and save all of these. Mm-hmm. And then we wanted to actually react to some of them because, you know, it's a fun game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But something I saw that's kind of funny to me about this game is there's like a whole controversy right now, mainly with Twitter people who are losers,
Uh-oh.
about Emma Frost.
What's the controversy?
She's too sexual.
Isn't that her character?
Oh, you mean from the comic books that were written by men?
Oh.
It just
Do people just like to complain about women and their bodies, just in general? Like,
Usually it's non-hot women who complain.
yeah. It just seems like every time there's a woman who's, like, beautiful, people get mad about it, but whenever they add in someone like...
Like Namor without his shirt on?
Yeah, like Namor without his shirt on, or Captain America, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, sure, he's a conventionally attractive man, but, I mean, he's not being sexualized.
Well, but sometimes he is. And, like, do you remember the Venom twerking?
Well, yeah, that's the joke I'm making. Like,
Yeah.
they're obviously, like, enhanced version of a man, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it's wrong when we do that with women.
But what's funny to me is, like, now, I wouldn't even be opposed to it, but if they added a emote specifically for Psylocke of her twerking her buns, people would be mad.
Yeah, people would be mad.
But they added it for Venom, and it's like, that's funny.
Yeah.
But, like, I want to show it after this match ends, which this match will go on for a little while. Mm-hmm. Because he's, like, double-cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon Venom.
Yeah,
We're talking skin-tight
he has the
buttocks.
hugest butt in the game.
Yeah, so it's kind of... I think a lot of people complain. I don't remember what YouTuber said this. It was years ago. But it was about a situation like this, and they said that this is what happens when people stop getting drafted.
Yeah.
And essentially the idea of, like, people used to worry about war, and they used to worry about, am I going to be able to afford to eat?
Uh-huh.
But now you have a generation of people, I would argue a few generations of people. The millennials, which I'm part of, are one of those groups. Gen Z is part of that group. Whatever the one was kind of in between, where they will just complain about stuff because they're so overwhelmed by everything that they latch on to something that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because they're not actively dealing with stuff in their own life. They're either pushing it aside because it's too overwhelming, or their parents and other people around them are dealing with it for them.
Well, I don't
and
know.
Therefore, their biggest problem is Emma Frost has a butt.
I don't get why we're in the 1940s again, where, like, somebody showing an ankle is taboo now.
Well, we've said it 100 times, too. It's funny that it comes from the left now.
Yeah.
I don't hear the anti-sexualization stuff nearly as much from the right anymore.
Like, did they forget how long we fought to be able to wear pants?
Yeah, I mean, I fought to take mine off.
That makes sense.
But that was fighting in court against a restraining order, so I don't know if that counts.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm just saying it's ridiculous how far we have come to be able to let women wear what they want, and now it's not okay to wear what you want.
Look at this scoreboard, by the way, right now.
28-1, by the way,
28-1.
Jill.
With 14k damage output.
I know, I'm so good. I not to toot my own horn, but this is the best match of my life. I even have it written as best on here.
That's funny. I do agree with you, though. I mean, it's something that I can only talk about so much, because we talked about it a lot with different things. We talked about it with Stellar Blade. We've talked about it with this. But you're right, especially with this, even with the source material being, you know, the comics, I genuinely see people, I love that she throws these as
I know.
grenades.
It's so cool.
I see people say stuff like, oh, you mean the comics that were written by men? I just wanted to...
What's wrong with it being written by a man?
Because it reinforced misogyny.
But
That looked like it
who
hurt.
cares? It's not misogynistic to write a female character.
Oh, but it is if she's objectified.
Get ready.
Well, what about the males that are objectified?
Oh, what? Yeah, I know. Men will see other men that are jacked, whether it be in real life or in movies, and they'll be like, man, I'm lazy. I should look like that. Or I
Also-
should do something. And women will see it and they'll be like, that's a... it's not just women, too. I feel like it's also people who are asexual. So women and asexual people, I see a lot on Twitter who do this. They'll see the thing and they'll say, I don't like that thing, remove it from everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like not anyone can enjoy it because I don't like it.
I don't like it, so yeah, no one can have it.
Also, have you guys noticed that female writers always write stories about, like, men that they find really sexy and they'll, like, objectify their own male character, but that's okay.
Like Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey, weren't they
Yeah.
both written by women?
Yes, and that's okay. That's totally fine. Yeah, we can have that. But when it's a man writing it, it's misogynistic.
And the argument that they have is, well, that's because men were able to do it for so long, it's our turn now. It's kind of...
If you're saying it's not right in one way, then it can't be right in the other way. You're
Well,
a hypocrite.
it's the same thing about... There's a group of people who want reparations because they feel that, like, it actually would even something to happen, but most people who want that kind of thing want it because it's time to get even and get something back. You know what I mean?
I just think it's stupid.
It's the same idea. A lot of people, this is their morals. Their morals aren't really their morals. It's I have something to gain or lose, so I believe this. But the second I don't, I believe something else.
Yeah, because I'm selfish and I only care about myself.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, I've never understood this line of reasoning. I don't think I ever will. I like
Also-
this, by the way, real quick, and I do want to hear what you have to say, but I wanted to show when she responds, she gets the little heart
Yeah, it's cute.
bubble. I think that's fun.
I was gonna say, it just, I don't understand why a woman wearing clothes that she likes affects other people so much. Like, you don't have to wear those clothes if you don't want to. You don't have to play Marvel Rivals as that skin if you don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
like,
if you
why-
don't want to, you shouldn't at all.
Why does it affect your life so much to make you so angry that you want it taken out of the game? Does that make sense? It's like being mad at a cosplayer because a cosplayer showed up dressed like, I don't know, like half naked or something, and it was totally okay for the con rules.
I've shared this story before.
But you're mad because she looks like that. But it's her choice.
Somehow I lost my phone. I've shared this story before, but there's a very famous story. I think it got kind of buried.
Wait, this was my highlight, by the way. Did you guys see this where I got a hexa?
Yeah, 6 in a row.
And then I
You want me to
couldn't
go back?
I couldn't get Human Torch, sadly.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, I've never heard her do those voice lines before, by the way.
Yeah, I think you have to be good to hear those, so
Yeah.
I don't hear them either.
Yeah.
But I was going to say there was this Formula One racing girls, and they were fired, basically. Oh, yeah. Okay, here's what it is. I don't know whatever happened to these girls. Maybe they came back or something. They were called Grid Girls. And essentially, they were girls who wanted to be cheerleaders, and they wanted to help with the ceremony of the Formula One racing.
And they enjoy their job.
They enjoyed their jobs, they enjoyed how they dressed, and they got rid of it because other people bitched about it, and they said that even though the practice of employing grid girls has been a staple of Formula One Grand Prix for decades, this is in 2018, we feel this custom does not resonate with our brand values and clearly is at odds with modern-day societal norms. We don't believe the practice is appropriate or relevant to Formula One and its fans, old and new. Even though grid girls were mad about this and saying, hey, we shouldn't have lost our jobs, they went on Twitter and they were saying that they lost important income because other feminists think they know best for these women.
Yeah.
These were the women who got fired. We're saying this.
But we should support sex workers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, isn't that hypocritical?
It's all hypocritical.
We should support strippers. That's fine, and they can do what they want.
And by the way, I'm fine with that too. I don't care.
These Formula One girls who are doing basically the same job, well, that's not feminist enough.
My standpoint on most things has always been free will. If you're not actively harming someone else, which I know they argue you are, because you're promoting societal norms and this and that, but I'd argue you're not. If you're not actively harming someone, you should be allowed to do whatever you want, and to quote a famous Western, let God sort them out.
And people shouldn't be getting rid of your job based on their beliefs just because they don't like what you're doing. Like, then just look away. Don't go to the Formula One races. Like, why would you get rid of somebody's livelihood, their dream job? I mean, a lot of these girls probably were in this job thinking, wow, this is my dream job. I love modeling. I love doing this. I love that the fans love me. I love racing. And then they had to lose it all.
Right.
And isn't that horrible? Can you imagine losing your dream job because a couple of jerks were mad?
That was amazing, by the way. I love this animation with Venom.
I know, it's really cool.
Because this is on Clintar, which is his, the symbiote planet, essentially.
And look, that's my MVP.
Yeah, Rebecca Cooper, 5-time F1 grid girl, said on Twitter that it's ridiculous that women who say they are fighting for women's rights are saying what others should and shouldn't do, stopping us from doing a job we love and are proud to do. This is political correctness gone mad.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. Also, 49-4 with 11 assists, almost 25k damage.
Uh-huh. That's the best match ever.
Which is funny because the other day you got a message saying you suck at Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, the other day, by the way, I got SVP during this match.
The more fired up you get, the louder you get, and I have to remind you to, we're okay, we're indoors.
So, I think it was yesterday or the day before, there was two people who were playing as Thor and Penny, and they were obviously playing on a team together, because, like, it said that they were, like, on a team together sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And one of them had insta-locked Squirrel Girl at first, but then changed to Penny at the beginning of the match.
You also got this costume.
Yeah! And so I changed to Squirrel Girl to play as Squirrel Girl because I was like, oh, well, I wanted to play as her anyway, and this person unlocked her, so sure, I'll play as her.
Yeah,
and that person got mad that I was playing as her and said that I should be pushing as Squirrel Girl, who, by the way, everybody in the comments agrees was a backline character, or is a backline character. This person was mad that I wasn't pushing as her, and I basically said in the chat, no, I'm not going to push as her.
So you can push as her, but yeah, you're right. Primarily, she's not a pusher.
Well, you probably shouldn't because she only has 275 health. She's not a tank.
Right.
Like, that's the tank's job. And this entire time, this Penny was not doing her job as a tank, like, at all. She was the worst tank of all time.
She kept hiding, and I was playing this match. I healed 15k damage. I guarantee 4k was at least on her.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not exaggerating.
And she did the worst on our team, and then her and her friend called me trash and said I sucked, and all of this awful, like, mean messages and stuff. And then I got SVP. We lost because they wouldn't push, by the way, but I got SVP, and I did the best in the game. And I was like, yeah, am I still trash now that I have SVP?
And they did bad.
And they didn't answer.
Yeah, they quit the match and ran away like bitches.
And then this other person was mad you didn't heal enough. Well, how much healing did you do that match before?
Over 15k, and it was not a long match. It was a short match because I was solo healing. Nobody else would heal, and I had to do Luna Snow.
Yeah, nobody else wanted to play as healer.
I love this skin, but like the fact that I'm a racist really drags it down.
Yeah, that's true. I thought they called me the racist.
Well, I know you, so.
Oh, that makes sense. You're an honorary racist.
I love the galaxy effect on that.
It's really cool.
And I'm also a big fan of this, by the way.
Anyway, I'm still mad about it that they were like, well, you're bad as Squirrel Girl. Let me have her so I can push. And it's like,
what the heck's Luna's problem?
Luna's crazy. It's just that's not what she's supposed to do. You're the tank. You're supposed to be the one pushing. Like, I'm a DPS. I'm not supposed to push.
Right.
Like, I can, but it's your job. You know what I mean? Like, did they not understand that?
I don't know. It seemed like they didn't...
And also, this was quick play, by the way. People were pressed over quick play.
Okay, settle down. You're getting pressed right now.
I'm pressed.
I found it weird that people didn't care about what their role was.
Yeah.
You know?
And somehow I was doing bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people send mean messages like that, it makes me think, like, why do you care so much? It's just a game, and also it's quick play. It's not like we're losing ranking on it like in competitive.